If you're into video work and want to make full use of your DSLR or mirrorless cameras into a full-time filmmaking machine, there's no better way to expand its capabilities to the next level than rigging your equipment. At least that's what I believe. With some fallbacks to adding a little bit more weight to your camera, losing some accessibility when it's fully rigged, and to some extent, it might even just get in the way of actually producing the work. But for most of the time, the pros outweigh the cons for tailoring your needs on how you could utilize your camera to its fullest potential. So rigs in general have exponentially changed the landscape of entry or prosumer cameras because how much you can build on top of your current setup. While it could just look like this, basic, uninspiring, or amateur to say the least, there's something about showing up on set with a fully rigged camera that may change the perspective of your clients and kind of gives you the confidence of operating your camera. SmallRig has been one of the pioneers in making very affordable rigging equipment and products and accessories for years now, and makes all kinds of products. And if you didn't know already, from cages tailored for almost every hybrid or video camera out there, to tripods, shoulder mounts, mat boxes, and most recently, lighting equipment as well. We were keen to see how the lights would stand up against the likes of other brands, but yeah, unfortunately they didn't have any review units available, so maybe we can save that for another video when they do. So do subscribe if you want to see when that video comes out. They have, however, been kind enough to send us a few accessories that were available, such as a cage for my Sony a7 III, a top handle, a very nice wooden rosette side handle with a record stop remote trigger, along with some dedicated cables, 2 Nito reels, this swivel and tilt adjustable monitor mount with a cold shoe mount. And adding all of these together will obviously change the weight of your camera, but sometimes that's not exactly a bad thing. Bigger cameras, like cinema cameras, can weigh up to 7 kilos. And while it can feel tiresome carrying them around after a few hours, they do produce a more natural handheld look, something that's very hard to achieve when your only point of contact is the grip on the camera and most likely your lens if you're racking focus manually. Not to mention having to shift your grip every time you hit record. That could result in unwanted shaky footage for run and gun moments. So I took the chance to take this out on a shoot I did with a friend for a promotional campaign with requirements that it had to be shot vertically. While I'm not exactly a huge fan of vertical videos, I found the side handle with remote trigger to be so useful and how comfortable it felt gripping onto, especially in this orientation. Although there were some annoyances given how the rosette clamp got in the way of opening the memory card door, I'm just glad it's much easier and faster to remove thanks to the Nito rails as compared to screwed on type ones. Also, I found the cable that allows the record start-stop function is just a tad bit too short, which also adds some strain on the micro USB port. My biggest nightmare would be damaging the ports on my camera, so it would have been nice if it came with slightly longer cables just to avoid it from breaking accidentally. The top handle has clearly made me not want to throw my camera into a bag anymore, just because of how convenient it is to carry the camera around as a full unit and not in partitions like I did before. I mean, nobody comes into a battlefield with a gun disassembled, if you get what I'm saying. So maybe it's time for me to get a Pelican box. It also allows me to place my shotgun mic slightly further in front, as it comes with 2 horseshoe mounts and very easily adjustable to your liking, and a dedicated Allen key that can be tucked away magnetically. Also, not forgetting to mention SmallRig's universal monitor mount that has made it very easy to adjust tilt positions when changing shooting angles, to which I previously had to use a really wonky bracket that came with this fuel monitor and could barely support the weight of the battery attached to the back. Now, I want to make myself clear, it's not exactly a complete must to rig your camera up, nor am I suggesting that it makes you any less of a filmmaker or videographer. But if you are currently having mixed feelings about whether or not you should upgrade your camera, just because the latest models does 6K footage or shoots 4K 120, then maybe you could consider what your current setup looks like now and where it's lacking before blowing away potentially hundreds or thousands of dollars that could be invested in other sectors of filmmaking, like how SmallRig has, by providing for average creatives like you and I and being more mindful about where our hard-earned cash goes to. Rigging your equipment doesn't necessarily make you a better filmmaker, but it does help you in situations that, like shooting in vertical mode, I found this grip to be such a help in terms of recording when I wanted to, instead of coming into the record button at the back here. It's small detail like that changes, that adds up exponentially when you're on a run and gun kind of shoot, because that's the last thing you want to think about, as you have so many other things you have to think about on the shoot itself. So adding just a tad bit more aid during your shoots will help a lot. SmallRig is just one of the companies that do rigs, if you didn't know, and there's other brands like Tilta who kind of do a more structured and rigid materials than SmallRig. SmallRig's a bit thinner on the other side, on the side, but it does make it more affordable. So far, I've been using all of their products for rigging equipment, especially. So yeah, do check them out, guys. Yeah, thanks for watching this video. Thanks for sticking up to the end of this video. And yeah, I will see you guys in the next one.